for so many years. So one day, an Amazon plant had moved in near us, and she said, "Well, I'm just going to go over there and pick parts during the holiday season and see if anybody will notice." And so she did that, and they did. They noticed. And I hired her as a supervisor and a training manager, and she started going around and opening facilities. And then somebody at Amazon had left and gone to Chewy.com. I don't know if you're familiar with Chewy or not, but she now works with Chewy, and she does the same thing. She starts facilities. So she's still in North Carolina working on a facility startup in Salisbury, North Carolina, but she can work remotely anywhere. So when I left the job at the shed company, I started talking with my dad, and I kind of got it. He's 80 now, and could tell he wanted somebody in the area, and we could live anywhere. So we thought and prayed about it, and I made the decision that I was going to move back to the area. So I moved ahead. Our kids are grown. I have a daughter that's a social worker, got her master's degree in social work, works for the VA in Charlotte, and a son who has got an undergraduate degree in anthropology. I thought he was going to go to grad school, but he has decided he's going to venture across Europe. So he's got a backpack and is paying his own way, but currently in Dublin, Ireland at this point. So the kids are up and grown. My wife's in North Carolina. I came and moved here, and don't know exactly what future holds. I've kind of been working an unretirement plan for the last 10 years. I like to work. I get bored easily, so I like to do something. My dad saw this job in the Farmington Shopper and said, "Hey, why don't you reach out and contact Fred?" So I did that. I'll be 55 in February. My plan is to work at least 10 more years, and you can tell all the things I've done since I've left Caterpillar in my mind were more meaningful work. I don't want to. Caterpillar is a fine company. I don't want nothing bad to ever say about it. My third generation of people that work there, and they treated me really, really well. But at the end of the day, they make tractors. And, I found working for the church or organizations that do something to give back was a little bit more meaningful for me. So my goal is to find meaningful work that every dollar I make is $1 I don't have to take out of my retirement fund, and be here and help take care of my dad, and kind of get back to my roots and reconnecting with some old friends and people from around here. So that's how I got here.
Just a couple of quick questions for you, Brian, before you can stay if you want, or if you'd like to leave, that's fine too. But have you worked in government employment at all, or part of, and you and I have talked about this, as part of the reason we're looking for a city administrator is in the economic development field, and that. Could you kind of address some of that issue?
Yeah, I mean, I've never worked in the government entity before, so that would obviously be it's a downfall for
a learning curve anyway.
Yeah, I've done work with the churches, and where I've worked on the other side with the government in order to get things done. I've never worked for the government itself. Caterpillar did pay for me to get my executive MBA, so I think you had said the financial piece was a big part of the job. I think I can handle that pretty well, but I would have some things to learn in terms of zoning and all those things. But that's part of the excitement for me, is figuring out and learning something new. Yeah, so I don't have a whole lot of experience when it comes to governmental work working for the government.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions for Brian?
Any grant applications for your money?
I've done some grant work through the church. We had a daycare center that we did a lot of grant work with them. I didn't necessarily write them, but we had people. We hired some subcontract people that did the writing for us. But I kind of oversaw that process. So a little bit of experience, maybe 4 or 5 years with the second church where we had the weekday school. We were always looking for ways to improve school. So, yeah. And at Caterpillar, I've worked in marketing, human resources, operations. I had a little bit of IT. I managed a group that was a tech group for a while. So I've got kind of all the different functions of a general manager role But my biggest challenge here, I think, would be learning the government entity side of things. But again, that's for me, that's the most exciting part, is learning something new and figuring it out. I kind of, my mindset is always, every place I've been, it's kind of just the process of start by doing a lot of listening and understanding from people that know things like you all do, and understanding what success looks like and how you're going to measure success. And once we understand that, or I understand that, then it's a matter of exploring what's required in order to deliver that level of success and measure it, and then reevaluate and either do or not, and finding ways to get to where you want to go, where the community wants to go. So. And I found that formula kind of works in any organization. The measurable definition of success is different, obviously, but usually the buckets are the same. There's a financial, there's your stakeholders are probably existing businesses, new businesses that you want to draw, existing people that live here, new people that we want to bring in, and so forth. It's just really trying to listen and understand and kind of document what success looks like. And in this entity, you guys would have a good understanding of what it is you're trying to do. I read your strategic plan, and was that 2014?
Yeah.
So it looks like you've done some good groundwork there in terms of what it is you're trying to accomplish. And talking with Fred, it sounds like there's some things that are happening that are successful along those lines in terms of annexation, some new businesses coming to town. So I don't have a concern about my ability to learn it, but I would have to learn it. I'd have to spend a lot of time with you all, and we'd already talked about maybe going to see some of the other people in roles like this in other towns, and seeing what they do and understanding how they do it.
Anyone else have any questions for Brian?
Have at it. I'm an open book.
Well, like I said, Brian, you are welcome to stay. We're going to go on through our meeting then. I just wanted everyone to get a chance to meet you.
Is it okay? I'd like to just learn a little.
Sure. Feel free to stay.
There, even I wouldn't move back.
Yeah, that
I'm
chair,
not coming, so you can just stay there. Yeah.
that chair's a lot more comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me.
All right. Next item of business is the approval of.
Another guest.
Oh, Jason, I'm sorry. Jason, would you like to address the board?
I don't have any questions. Thanks.
All right, very good. Approval of our minutes from our last meeting. There was one correction that I don't know if it got into your packets or not.
No.
But we had a typo on one of the
Well,
motions that we made.
I had Todd making the motion and seconding it, and I don't think Todd's allowed to do that. So Tony actually seconded it, and I gave you a new copy of the minutes. So that's just a change.
And I did read it, so I'm sorry I didn't catch it.
Yeah, so did I.
read it too. So.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes with that change.
Second.
Motion by Frixell, second by Steer to approve the minutes of our June 16th meeting with that correction. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, motion carried. Should be in your packets or in your emails, the treasurer's report. Give you a minute to take a look at that and see if you have any questions on that. Seeing no questions, I will entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report and to pay all outstanding bills.
So moved.
Motion by Hoopengarner. Do I have a second by Frixell? Any further discussion? Roll call it. Hoopengarner,
Yes.
Yes.
Johnson, Steer,
Yes.
Gates, That was a yes. And the other two are not here.
Tony.
Oh, Tony, I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's Jeff.
Took it for me on the screen.
All right. Motion carried. All right, Brandon, you're up. Can you mute yourself and
Yes, I can.
tell us what you got for us here?
I don't have a whole lot. I just wanted to update the board and let you know we continue to work on the water tower planning study. I have a most of the way done draft here that Joe's provided me. I'm making some tweaks to it and incorporating some of the data that Fred has recently provided me, so thank you. I would like to perhaps present some of the draft results, if you will, at the next meeting to get any comments that you might want incorporated into a final report. It's not going to change the answer. We all know where we're going here, but we can justify certainly the village's need for a new elevated water storage tank, and this would go a long way towards any planning grant with the EPA or other capital grants that I'm sure we're going to be seeing as well. So all the things we've talked about, I just wanted to update the board there. The only other thing that we do have in front of us, Fred, if I might, is that as part of it, and you'll recall in the progression of how this works, is we do a planning study, we do some soil borings, we do some design, then we would go out to bid, get a permit, go out to bid, and then hire a contractor and go. So one of the things that is money well spent and needs to be done in that process is to obtain some soil borings to make sure that the soils that are underneath the proposed location are appropriate and be able to do the design for the elevated water storage tank. We always plan about a $5,000 budget number for those soil borings. We secured a proposal from a local firm, Whitney and Associates. I believe it's in the agenda packet, in the amount of was it 32.
3629.95.
My computer's not as fast at home as it is at work.
That should be in your board packets. Whitney and Associates. This is the soil boring. If you look over in the lot across the street, that is where they're going to be doing the soil boring. Even though they did that for the old water tower that's 60 years old now, just, you know, a few feet away could change things. And so it's really important that we do this soil boring. So with that, I will entertain a motion to approve the soil boring from Whitney and Associates at a cost of $3,629.95.
Did we have that done when the house was removed?
No. All right, so that was a motion by Johnson and a second by Steer. Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, let's roll call it. Johnson,
Yes.
Steer,
Yes.
Frixell,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes.
and Hoopengarner.
Yes.
All right, motion carried. The other thing underneath Brandon's report, and we'll bring this up now for a vote, is when we asked our engineers to do this infrastructure study, they provided us with, you know, the plan of basically what they are going to do. So I passed that out at our last meeting for you to review so that you could look at it in case you had any questions. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve their planning study proposal for our water tower storage tank. Got a motion by Frixell, a second by Hoopengarner. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Steer.
Yes.
Frixell.
Yes.
Gates.
Yes.
Hoopengarner.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Does anyone else have any questions for Brandon before we let him leave?
Do I have a copy of that structure thing?
Hearing none. Brandon, thank you very much.
I did have one more quick thing, Fred.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to identify that I do anticipate getting the plan for the coffee. I think you said the 10th, and I turn it around by the 20th. Is that still the schedule?
That is still the schedule. What Brandon is talking about is a site plan for the new development going in on 116 for the coffee can. They have to submit a site plan, and that site plan has to be approved by the Planning Commission and also by our board. We will be doing that at our next meeting. In the meantime, our engineer, Brandon, will be looking that over, giving us recommendations. If he sees an issue, he will be contacting them, asking them to change those to make sure that they're in compliance with our ordinance and that everything, drainage and just the whole site plan itself is in compliance. So he will be giving his recommendation to the Planning Commission. If they approve it, then it will come to us, and then we will have to approve it.
Sign ordinance.
Sign ordinance, yes, he'll be looking at all of that stuff.
So Fred, I just wanted to confirm I wasn't planning to attend the Planning Commission meeting on the 20th then too. Is that
Yes,
appropriate? Okay, perfect.
and it can be done by Zoom.
Okay.
We'll set up the Zoom for that one also.
Perfect. I just wanted to confirm that was my plan anyway. Very good.
And they are supposed to have that to you by the 10th
Correct.
to give you 10 days to review it.
More than adequate. So I look forward to the opportunity. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
All righty, where are we now? Down to attorney's report. Patrick.
Nothing groundbreaking for you. I'll apologize if you hear some barking. The dogs are extra fired up tonight. So the two things you have on there would be the resolution for the emergency powers. Again, the last meeting, we talked about whether or not you want to extend it. It's a board decision. I think everyone's familiar with what it does at this point, and so just I won't speak any more to that. And then with the respect to the TIF district, that's a Jacob and Klein thing. And so with that, I'll step back and let you make a decision on the resolution for the emergency powers. And then when it comes to the other issues that I see we could touch on, I'll just wait and address those in turn as you need me.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
So the next thing, the thing he mentioned is that resolution extending the executive powers, since we are still underneath the governor's executive order, even though that has in one county been shot down. Technically, I think we're still obligated to follow that. So, like I said, I have not used my executive power too much. About the only thing that I have done with it is set up the protocols for our bars to be able to serve and our restaurants to be able to serve outdoors. We've had one request that I'm trying to get a little bit more information on that might fall underneath the executive powers. And that was a request by Casey's to
Curbside beer delivery.
yeah, I guess to allow curbside pickup of their packaged liquor. They have a packaged liquor license. They've asked, sent in a request to allow their employees to apparently deliver beer to people in the parking lot.
If they have a computer, they can take it out so the people can pay from their car and not have to come inside.
And so
I'll call tomorrow and get some more information, but
we're getting more information on their request, but that would allow me as liquor commissioner and as mayor to approve something like that until the next meeting, and then you guys would have to approve it. But that's really about the only thing that I've used my executive powers on. Do we want to extend it? If so,
Would that be an extended deal even after the COVID-19 is over, or is that just for this time?
no, we would put we would put restrictions on it just like we did everything else. It's just during this time that the executive order is in effect.
I don't think it would change the license because they have a license to sell packaged goods, whether they sell them inside the store or curbside. I
It's
don't,
not really even our decision.
Well, it is.
he's the liquor commissioner, it is.
But wait a minute, they already have a,
They're just asking if it would require any additional information on the liquor license.
And whether or not we would allow that. So, and we can set up our rules on that. The state has loosened up some of the rules on there. So, and this has come up because the state has allowed liquor to be sold and taken from the premises from bars. And so I think they're wanting to have the same ability, even though, I mean, technically it's walking 5 feet, to take it out to a car. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what the deal is, but we're working on that. But anyway, without belaboring the point, I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2020-07-01, extending my executive order powers. Motion by Hoopengarner, second by Steer. Any further discussion? Do we roll call this one or just?
We shared a resolution.
All right, roll call it. Frixell,
yes.
Gates.
Gates,
Give me a thumbs up, Todd. Gates.
Yeah, you were going out.
All right, Gates says yes. Hoopengarner.
Yes. Yes.
All right, motion carried. The only other thing, and we brought this up at our last meeting, was the proposed TIF district public meeting announcement. The date of the announcement was June 16th. It was posted on our website and village doors on July 6th by Myrna Clapp, village clerk, about a public meeting for the proposed Village of Hannah City TIF district. The meeting will be held Tuesday, July 21st, 2020 at 6 p.m. at the Village Hall, 313 North First Street in Hannah City. This meeting can be joined from a computer, tablet, or smartphone via Zoom, and the Zoom address is there, or you can join by telephone at that phone number provided. The purpose is to enable the village to advise the public, taxing districts having real property in the redevelopment project area, taxpayers who own property in the redevelopment project area, and residents in the area as to the village's possible intent to prepare a redevelopment plan and designate a redevelopment project area, and to receive public comments. That will be held prior to our next meeting. Along with that, just to let you know, in case you get questions about that, is that our attorneys, our TIF attorneys, Jacob and Klein, will be sending out a notice of public meeting to all of the residents who have properties within the TIF district, advising them of the meeting, how they can join the meeting, and a description of the tax increment financing and a little bit of information on that. I think you should have that information in your packets as well. I think that's all I have on that. Anything else before we go to committee reports? Seeing none. Finance.
I have nothing to report.
Nothing to report. Gates, sewer.
Nothing to report this week.
The only thing we'll update you on is that we are in the process of receiving the sand for our sand filters. We will probably need to rent a skid steer to distribute the sand to the 4 different filters and smooth them out prior to them coming in and removing all that sand. We're just putting it in, washing it and putting it back in. So that is,
You don't have to take it out.
they'll take it out.
Cleaner takes it out.
The cleaner takes it out, cleans it, and then puts it back in for us. But we had to purchase 600 and some ton, and most of that is here now.
4 more loads tomorrow. And you'll be
4 more loads. So we're getting there. There's a huge pile over there. But that is in the process. So we will probably end up having to rent a skid steer for about 3 days to get that all distributed once the rest of it is delivered. I think they're looking at the end of the month for them to come in and do the cleaning. So that's all I know on that. Streets and alleys, Rod isn't here. Does anyone have anything? I guess the only thing that I have on that is we talked about establishing a truck route going down Main Street to Hannah Street to 2nd Street to our industrial area. I am working with our street guys as far as the number of signs that we need. I think if you look in your report from our street guys, there are some other signs that they're wanting to get. So we will be looking at making one large sign purchase to get all the signs and poles established for that. We also have some street signs that have been destroyed or no longer in good working order, and we will probably be trying to get some of those, replace those that have been ripped off. We've located some of them hidden in bushes and stuff, so the kids have been the ones taking them. But that's kind of where we are on street signs. We're working with the street department, making one list so that we don't buy 5 here and 3 here, and we'll just make one big list.
on the streets and alleys, I would like to make a motion that we authorize Rod to be able to rent a skid steer whenever the guy feel they need it, instead of having to come to the board and wait 2 weeks to get an okay to rent it. Rod will have the authority to go ahead and rent it. With, they will go to him, and he'll have the approval, give them the approval, go ahead and rent it, without having to come to the board with it.
Up to a week.
I'd say forever.
Someday we need to,
Rent it up, you mean rent it up to a week?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
someday we need to revisit the purchase. We were pretty much there, but I kind of backed off of it because COVID into tax. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wait and see everything shook out at the end of the year, but
Well, I wonder if it isn't cheaper to rent it and rent the equipment you need with it at the time than to buy one personally.
Well, and
short term, you know.
and we can do that for the short term and see how much we use it over a year, and then make that decision next year whether or not we've got money in the budget to do that. So, all right. So, if I understand correctly, Steer has made a motion to allow the chairman of the street department to approve the rental of a skid steer for use by our public works for up to a week without seeking board approval.
And that's for water, sewer, whatever they need it for.
Second.
Well, if there's no constraint on how many weeks in a row you can do it, it's pretty much just an open ticket forever then.
Yeah, but we can keep track of it though.
Yeah.
Keep track of what?
How much it costs to rent it though.
Oh, that's what I mean. You might as well just make it as much as he wants to, unless you're going to say a week, a month or something like that though. Because otherwise it's, you could just rent it a week at a time forever.
Well, I think Rod just have to be instructed that it's not to
Yeah.
abuse. Just,
Right.
Yeah.
they have to go to him to get the approval to go ahead and get it, and let, not to let him abuse it.
Right.
And I don't think they will.
All right. So that is a motion by Steer,
Seconded by Deanna.
seconded by Hoopengarner. Is there any further discussion in reference to that? Hearing none, we will start with a roll call. Todd,
Yep.
Hoopengarner,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yep.
Steer,
Yes.
Frixell.
Yes.
Motion carried. Okay,
We'll need to let Rod know that.
Yes. And they will have to, I don't know how long Rod's gonna be gone or anything, but
He didn't say.
Jim is gonna be needing it.
right,
Whenever they start on the sand, moving the sand.
yeah. Well, the motion read Public Works, so that includes water, sewer, streets. So it does not include the mayor digging his
Yard up.
yard up, but no. All right.
I'll dig your yard.
No
From
thanks.
our road dog.
I'll put an ad in the shopper that you're looking for volunteers.
There you go.
I'm sure people will show up.
Police and planning, I'm sure. Police and planning, what you got for us?
From 6/8 to 6/27, 16 incident reports. And I think that's it.
All right, water.
Water. And 6 shut off the amount of 1,000, or excuse me, not shut off, and 6 in foreclosure, the amount of $1,353.89.
$353.89.
Correct. 13,1353.
1353.89.
Approximate gallons sold is 2,148,535. And free. 2 checks in the amount of $175 from the water escrow refund. That is it for water.
Update on leak detection. The company started their leak detection last week on a Monday. First day there was a fire that the firemen had to use a bunch of water, so they had to stop. Second day it rained and was messing up their equipment, so they had to stop. So they will be coming back to finish that up. And they plan on finishing it up by the end of July. So we have not gotten a report. Apparently the first little bit that they did not find anything yet, but they have a lot more to do to look for. The other thing that underwater that we need to discuss is back in March when this COVID-19 started, we waived all the interest and penalties and did not shut off any water services for people who were behind in their utility bills. One of the things we have to talk about and discuss is, do we continue this, or has this 3 months been long enough? There's really only one major resident that has not paid anything since the beginning. Most of the others are fairly current. There are a few that are a little bit behind. A suggestion is to let our customers know that starting on the next billing that we will be putting on the penalties and disconnecting. Give them a month's notice that it's coming. And then along with that, send them a letter letting them know that if they need help in paying their bill, that we will work with them and set up a payment plan to allow them to catch up. Do we want to do that at this time, or do we want to wait a while? What's the pleasure of the board here? I think there's a kind of a draft letter in your packets there I just put in this evening that kind of gives you an idea of what the letter would say. If not, I can get one made up for you. Wonder what I did with it. Anyway, basically it would say, dear resident, in an effort to ease existing stress and financial burden for our residents, the Village of Hannah City has not charged penalties or disconnected residents for non-payment on accounts since, actually it was March of 2020. This letter is to inform you that as of, and we'll figure out what date we want to put in there, the village will again start charging penalties and disconnecting for non-payment of accounts. Then we would give them, as of today, your current balance is whatever it is, and we have not received payments since whenever, or you are this far behind. If you have questions concerning your utility billing or would like to request a payment plan, please contact the water clerk, and we'll give their hours.
I'd say with September's one.
Send this out in September.
Or send it out in August for September's billing.
Okay. We've got an idea to send it out in August for our September bill. Any further thoughts on this? Tony, this is kind of under your purview. You got any thoughts?
I think it's good.
All right. All right, we will work towards that, sending something similar to that out in August, letting them know ahead of time that it's coming. Give them a month to prepare and work with us on that.
So that letter will only go to those that are behind in payments?
Those who are behind in payments, right? And like I said, most of our people have done very well. You know, a few of them at the very beginning got behind, but over the course of these few months, they've caught up again.
You send it out now with
Yeah.
the September
I was
dates.
just thinking, send it with the bill.
Oh, yeah, since we've already sent out July's bills. Yeah.
Well, this would be a kind of a new mailing because
Uh-oh.
we
Yeah.
can't put all of that onto our
I just
bill.
send it out as keep your September dates, but keep it out, send it out as soon as, because if somebody is behind,
Yeah, gives them a
because
chance.
if we're going to shut them off for that back balance they have, if they don't, that'll give, you know, some time to make plans or to say, hey, I'm going to need some help paying this back balance off, you know, and they're giving us plenty of time to work with them and set up a payment plan.
And it's only gonna be a few, so.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not going to be a huge number.
So just send it earliest convenience. And give them till, you know, end of September or whatever you're thinking.
All right, we are down to buildings and grounds. Mr. Steer, what do you have for us?
Okay, the cleanup day. Usually, I used to call G&O and said, hey, we want to have a cleanup day next week, and they said, fine. We got under a contract with PDC, I guess it is, that we gotta give them a 30-day notice. And they will have a crew out here on a Saturday, they won't do it the same day they pick up the garbage. So we gotta put a notice in the paper, I guess you did already, that we're backing off of that, and we're gonna have to reschedule probably for August now.
This not gonna be enough time to get it in there, because we've already got it in there that it's gonna be this coming
Right.
up
Well, the
Monday.
notice, there'll be a notice coming out this week that says it has been postponed and will be rescheduled.
We can get that in for tomorrow.
We
We
did.
already did.
Okay.
Because the other ad was supposed to come out this week anyway, so we
Yeah.
just switched. And she could have put it in there and postponed, but it was cheaper just to do a little notice
Maybe
and
we'll
then put in.
throw
the-
that on the Facebook page for Hannah City too.
Yeah.
That would probably, that would reach a lot of people pretty quick too.
Well, what we have to determine now is what Saturday we want to do it.
Yeah, they wanna do it on Saturday, they hire a crew to go out and do it, it don't cost us anything, but they wanna do it on Saturday, they don't wanna do it on daily pickup, because it's too much material. G&O always just done it on the day of the regular.
I can't imagine they're gonna have that much to pick up.
I can't either.
You
Well,
never do.
I was saying, there was something on Facebook about it, that why we even have a cleanup day, because everything you list, you can't do this, can't do that, can't do this, can't do that.
That
That's
hasn't
why-
changed.
That's why
No.
Gino never even, I don't think Gino ever used an extra truck the last 4 years.
No.
It wasn't any different than,
He did put 2 extra guys on the truck,
yeah,
but they
Did-
used,
yeah,
the same truck, but he just put 2 extra guys on for lifting purposes.
yeah.
The only difference is G&O picked up half the town one day and half the town the next.
Yeah.
And
And they took anything and everything all year round anyway.
Yeah.
No matter what.
I don't get it. I pushed it a few times, but well, we'll see. He knows what's going on. So.
And I think PDC has done some of that too.
I haven't heard any complaints of anyone not picking.
I put out extra bags one time, and I used the neighbor. You know, the neighbor doesn't mind if I help fill theirs up, and I piled a few on top and they took my. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think they'll get abused, but they're not too persnickety about one extra bag
They
here
do
and there.
take stuff off the recycling tub and put it in the garbage.
Yeah,
I've had to
Yeah,
make sure we got it completely separated if it's recycling.
yeah, it's
but yeah, and in talking with them, they were concerned that especially with the COVID-19, more people would be cleaning out stuff and throwing stuff out, and they thought that they wouldn't be able to handle it with one truck. They'd need 2 trucks, and they didn't have 2 trucks available during the week. So like Bill said, we have it written into our contract with them that they provide this for us one time a year at no extra cost. They want to do it on a Saturday. They hire a special crew to come in and do. So that's how they do their other communities. And so what we need to pick is, he says he's got August 1st and August 8th as the 2 Saturdays that are open. We need to pick which one we want and let them know right away.
So if it has to be out by 6 a.m. Saturday morning, that doesn't give them Saturday to the weekend to get it ready.
You planned the weekend before.
You got a whole month to get
That's a
ready.
lot
You have
of
a month to
time. I
get
know.
ready.
You don't want to set out the curb that
Nope.
far in
You have to
advance.
stage it somewhere and then put it out that night.
Well, see, if you put it out Friday
I'll
night,
tell
all
you
the
something.
scrappers will come and take all the good stuff. And
Yeah,
then,
all the metal would be gone.
so pick a day, pick a day, pick a day. 8th, August 8th, then will be our pickup day. We will advertise that in the paper. We will let PDC or Wigan know of the date that we picked. August 8th. All right,
And we need to say it needs to be out there by 6 a.m.
I'll get that to you. I'll get the date on for you. What else you got for us? Buildings and grounds.
Trees. We got quote from Busker. We got a maple tree on Chicago Street, an ash tree on Runkle Street, a maple tree on Chicago Street, here by the water tower, and a dead tree there. And then 10 stuff to clean up for a total of $36.50.
Are you making a motion to approve the tree removals for?
Money in the tree.
For what, 4 trees? Is that 4 trees?
You making a motion?
Yes.
Second.
4 trees and 10
There
stumps.
it is.
All right, we've got a motion by Steer to approve the quote for tree removal and stump removal. Second by Johnson. Any further discussion?
Pretty near the dollar amount that they paid for one full day of work anyway. So
I'm hoping that we might even get it done cheaper, because Joe said that tree there on Chicago Street, he says, I see nothing wrong with it personally. He says, maybe top it out and trim it out a little bit, but he says, unless the person just wants it out of there, don't want to have free leave or anything.
Yeah, but that's on our property, so we make that decision. If it's still a live tree,
Yeah.
we can trim it, but I would not remove it.
And then these 2 trees over here, the Love Lady, he was over there, and I thought I didn't know Don Love Lady from Beans. He was out in the yard, and I stopped and told him that we were going to be taking the 2 trees out. And he said, well, I don't live here. He said, I'm Don Love Lady next door there, across the street from me. He said, this lady, I just go over and help her out in the mow her yard and that. And he says, if you just cut the trees down, I'll clean them up. So I might talk to Joe on that, so we might get by cheaper yet. I don't know for sure.
The one in Chicago is alive. We'll be taking them out.
I guess. Did you ever talk to her yet?
I have not talked to her, no.
Somebody told Fred that she wanted the tree out of there. And I've been trying to contact her, and I haven't contacted her yet.
But it's on the right of way?
It's on our right of way.
It's on our right of way.
So she
And
can
it's
ask
alive?
us for permission to take it out, and she can take it out if she wants it out. If it's lot, is it damaged anything of ours?
I don't think it is.
Oh,
So we shouldn't be more.
well, we'd give her a permit to take it out or whatever she wants, permit to work on the right of way if she wants it out that bad.
Yeah.
Not really inclined just to remove trees by.
But he,
Well, that's why we talked
Joe
with
said to
Buskirk.
top it out and trim it up a little bit. He said, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. You just take it
Yeah, do
out.
that, then if his opinion is it just needs spruced up a little bit for the health of it, then do that, but I wouldn't take it out. I'd listen to him. Yeah,
So
I trust his opinion on it, so.
we'll let Bill work with Buskirks on that and decide what needs to be done and how best to do it. So not to exceed 3,600, whatever that figure is there. So that is the motion from Steer and the second by Johnson. Roll call it. Hoopengarner,
Yes.
Johnson, Steer,
Yes.
Frixell, Gates.
yes.
Thumbs up. Yes. All right.
That's all I got.
Anything else under committee reports? All right, moving down to other business. Update on opening Village Hall with the new COVID restrictions. We have now moved. I think you are all are aware that we have moved into phase 4. We will probably be in phase 4 for a long time, which allows gatherings up to 50. We don't get that many coming in here anyway, so I have got the office set up to open up to allow people to come in and do their business here. I've got our floors marked where they have to stay. They're 6 feet distancing. I've purchased masks and gloves and hand sanitizer for our employees who will be dealing with the public as they come in.
You already have a window set up, so.
We've got the window set up, so
We just need to put it on the front, like maybe just put
we will,
plastic across the top where they just have a small opening, because most of their scanning paperwork.
I'll have to tell Gary that I go and take the mixes up off the floor.
hey, leave those alone. I put those there.
He was measuring those all day.
But yeah, does anyone have any problems with us opening up?
Nope.
All right. So I told our employees that we would be opening them up this week. So, and I've purchased the items that they requested to have. So we should be in good shape for that. Had a meeting with our Rails to Trails today. Just kind of a quick update. As you know, we have applied for a grant to help us fund the purchase of the 24.7 mile Union Pacific abandoned railroad. We are waiting to hear from that grant. Typically they let us know in August whether or not we are going to receive the grant. Because of the COVID-19, they are estimating now probably not hearing until October, maybe even later than that. In the meantime, we have drawn up an intergovernmental agreement. I think there's a copy of that in your packet in reference to approving this grant. Is an 80-20 grant, 80% federally funded, 20% funded by the communities that are involved. There are 4 main communities involved in this. As you can see, our percentage is 5.5 miles of the trail, which would be $92,812.60 would be our portion that we would be responsible for.
We paid 80,000, right?
Huh?
We haven't paid any.
I'm paying.
We haven't paid any.
Only a year.
We put
So
money up
we need
for
another
everybody.
March
Nobody paid it back yet, have they?
No, 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 no,
No,
no. No,
No.
all we paid for is the survey,
we paid, yeah, we paid for the
Appraisal.
the
appraisal,
appraisal,
Yeah.
yeah.
7,000,
Yeah.
6,000,
8,700.
87, yeah.
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 The, this is kind of our portion. If the four entities pass this intergovernmental agreement, then we will be able to move forward. And this is just if we get that federal grant. Along with that is an opportunity to also apply for a state grant. You cannot use federal money to match other federal money. There is a state bikeways grant that is out there that we can apply for in the fall. That the last time that we did this, we were able to get 10% of the 20%, so that each community only had to pay 10%. So that would basically cut our,
Half of the 20% or 10% of the 20%?
it would be half of the 20%.
Okay.
So basically, it would cut our obligation in half. We are also working with some private entities trying to work with other organizations that are interested in hiking and biking, and trying to get some other grants from major corporate sponsors to kind of help us with that also. So along with that, this is worst case scenario. If we had to end up coming up with our 20% match, it would cost us $92,812.
Big thing would be too, hopefully, if everybody's been paying attention to the news, the House passes the Great American Outdoors Act, because that takes the offshore oil money and will guarantee fully fund that. That program, every county in the United States has had a project done by that in the past. Anything from a little league field to public access or a boat ramp or a hiking trail or whatever it may be. But it's been around since the 70s. They take money from offshore oil leases to fund this program. It's been funded. It's always been authorized to be funded ever since it's been, but it's only been fully funded a couple of years. The money's been allocated to it. And it's passed the Senate, bipartisan support.
It's passed the House.
No, passed the Senate.
It's passed the Senate.
Yeah, it passed the Senate. It was only a vote or two, maybe shy of a supermajority to avoid filibuster. And it had huge bipartisan support. Trump's already said he would sign it if it makes it to his desk. I would assume it's going to pass the House, hopefully with the Senate doing it with bipartisan. But it would not only guarantee its full funding, but it would guarantee full allocation for it every year. Because it's always been funded. The money's just never been allocated for it fully. So it would start with like $9 billion or $8 billion right up front to get rid of some of the backlog in some national parks, and then fully fund that program where we could apply to pave that or something, be a program that we're qualified for it. So
Right.
that would be huge. It's like $900 million a year.
Yeah,
That's going that fund every year guaranteed.
there is money out there. The biggest thing is whether or not we can get this property purchased. And that's really where we are right now. Like I said, we did meet today. We had several 20-some, almost 30-some people meeting today in reference to it. There's a lot of support for it. So,
What's our account set up for that? Like 120 or something?
yeah,
That's what I thought. When we quit putting money into it, we're about 120.
yeah,
We've got enough for the acquisition.
we've got enough for the acquisition and some extra money left over from that. Yes.
Limestone was still not interested.
Limestone may join us in this. If so, their portion would come out of what Peoria County's portion is. If you notice on there, Peoria County's got 10 miles in it. And if the Limestone Board votes to take over the Bellevue portion, then that would reduce Peoria County's $400,000.
170,000.
170,000.
is the total.
That they're 170,000. It would reduce that. How much, I'm not sure, but our portion would stay the same.
Passed another one I've been traveling the last 2 weeks for work around Southern Illinois. I can't remember what town I was near because I was in 10 different towns, but I passed another one of these. I drove over it one day.
Yeah.
I could see it was paved path. I went both directions and people and it was probably 2 in the afternoon or 10 in the morning as I was driving between towns.
People
Tell you
were
what,
on
there's
it.
people visible both directions on that. Middle of the day, middle of summer, I've never seen one that's not used all the time.
So it's on our agenda here for the intergovernmental agreement. I will entertain a motion to approve our intergovernmental agreement for the rails to trails. Motion by Frixell, second by Hoopengarner. Any further discussion? Roll call. Johnson,
Yes.
Steer, Frixell,
Yes.
Gates,
yes,
Hoopengarner.
Yes.
Motion carried. Update on the audit. Do we have an update on the audit? They were here last
They were
week.
here. That's all I know.
Have not heard anything.
Yeah, we've spent the money.
Yay or nay on it?
Still there, she's not in jail yet.
Yeah.
Update on our COVID-19 response. Like I said, the only thing I've got as far as update is we have moved into phase 4. We are in that now. There is some money out there that under the CARES Act funding that is supposed to go to units of local government to help offset some of the money spent for this COVID-19. We have not had to lay anyone off. We have not had to do anything major except for buying some PPEs and that. So we have not had to spend a lot of money, but there is still other money out there that is supposed to help with replacing some of the revenues lost in that. Unfortunately, it runs through the state, and the state has changed some rules. Instead of it coming directly from the federal government to the communities, which it does in most of the communities up north, for some reason, the state DCEO has changed the rules for downstate communities, and it has to run through the state now. So IML is trying to get that changed, but we may get some money out of that. I don't look for it. We are going on the premise that we're not going to be receiving any of that money and just continue the way we are. But that's the only new information I have on the COVID-19. Things are moving along on the coffee can proposal. Been working with the attorney's office on the actual sale of the property that they.
We need to close with them.
We have that agreement in writing now. So what I will do is entertain a motion to allow me to sign the agreement on the contract for sale of the property that has been drawn up by our attorneys to get that property into their hands, out of our hands, and they can continue to move forward. Motion by Hoopengarner, second by Steer. Any further discussion? Roll call it.
Yes.
Steer, Frixell, Gates,
yes,
Hoopengarner,
Yes.
and Johnson. Motion carried. Like I said, the attorney has drawn up the paperwork. We will set the date with them as soon as we can and get that taken care of. Update on the BDD and the TIF boundaries. Like I said, don't forget that our prior to our next meeting on the 21st, we will have this public hearing at 6 o'clock. That is our next update on that.
Our regular,
We don't have a board meeting. It's the third Monday. Is that what you said it was?
No, that's planning
The
commission.
planning commission is the third Monday.
Okay.
The public hearing is the third Tuesday at 6 o'clock.
An hour before a regular meeting.
The 21st at 6 o'clock. And we will have that as a Zoom meeting since we can't have a lot of people here in our building. Update on ordinance violation letters sent. The only thing that I have is I've got 3 in the works that I have not sent out ordinance violations to. We will be working on that and trying to get that updated.
716 West Farmington Road, one of them.
Is that at the alley?
Yeah.
Yes, that is one of them. We've got at least 2 others, and there may be more. I've heard there's others out there. I have not, but we are working on those. Update on electrical aggregation. As you recall, at our last meeting, we did have the bid opening for our electrical aggregation. In your packets, you should have a copy of what the bids came in and what we chose. Currently, our electrical aggregation price is 0.0568 something. For the next 18 months, beginning actually it'll begin in January 2021, our electrical aggregation rate will drop to 0.04285 per kilowatt hour. So
0.0425.
4285.
yes, yep, you should have that in your packet there. So we dropped over a penny per kilowatt hour on our contract. This contract is only an 18-month contract. Our last contract was a 3-year contract. This one was only an 18-month, but a substantial decrease in what we'll be paying for our electrical energy. Next thing there is our TIF, and our next board meeting is the 21st on the 7th. I would like to have make a decision on a city administrator at our meeting in August. So put that on your calendars that we will be making that decision by then so we can get them up and running and moving along. Is there anything else that needs to come before the board? Seeing none. What's your dog's name, Patrick?
He's muted.
You're muted.
All right, this one's Bodie.
Hi,
He's
Bodie.
the newest one. He's 5 months old.
All right.
He's got his big brother, Marco, down there. They're both full-blooded border collies.
All right.
Nice.
Very good. Well, I've got nothing else. If no one else does, meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Are we meeting?
Thank you.
Maybe.
You already told me you were.
Maybe.
Harold, your uncle, is it?
Yeah, my dad's brother.
Let's go with him.
So essentially.